What if the car everyone laughed at was actually worth more than their entire company? What if the man they mocked was hiding a legacy no one could imagine? Stay till the end, because this story will completely change how you see success, judgment, and hidden greatness. And before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kind Soul Stories, because stories like this deserve to be heard. The parking lot outside the towering glass headquarters gleamed under the bright morning sun, filled with luxury cars that reflected ambition, success, and power. Every vehicle looked like it belonged in a magazine: sleek black sedans, shining sports cars, and expensive SUVs lined up in perfect order. Then, breaking the harmony, a rattling sound echoed as a rusty, faded old car slowly entered the lot. Its paint was chipped, its body slightly dented, and its engine coughed like it was struggling for breath. The car parked awkwardly between two polished vehicles, instantly drawing attention. Inside sat Daniel, a single father whose tired eyes told stories of sleepless nights and endless responsibilities. He stepped out quietly, adjusting his worn-out jacket and gripping his old lunchbox tightly, as if it held more than just food. It held his perseverance. Almost immediately, whispers spread among nearby employees. Some covered their mouths as they laughed, while others openly stared. "Does that thing even run?" one man joked. "Looks like it belongs in a scrapyard," another added. Daniel heard every word, but his face remained calm. This wasn't new to him. Every day was a battle, not just against poverty, but against judgment. Raising his young daughter alone had taught him patience, resilience, and silence in the face of mockery. He walked toward the building, ignoring the stares, until the sudden arrival of a sleek black luxury car turned everyone's attention. It was Victoria Hale, the powerful CEO known for her sharp decisions and even sharper tongue. As she stepped out, confident and commanding, her eyes immediately landed on Daniel's car. She paused, her expression shifting from curiosity to disbelief. "Whose car is that?" she asked loudly. When Daniel turned and quietly said, "It's mine," a wave of laughter rippled through the crowd. Victoria let out a cold, mocking laugh that cut through the air. "You actually drive that here?" she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The humiliation burned, but Daniel didn't react. Instead, he glanced briefly at his car, not with embarrassment, but with quiet pride. Because while everyone else saw rust and failure, Daniel saw something far more valuable, something no one else could yet understand. The next morning carried a strange tension, as if the air itself knew something was about to change. Daniel arrived earlier than usual, the soft rumble of his old car echoing through the nearly empty parking lot. But today he wasn't alone. A small group of employees had already gathered near his parking spot, whispering among themselves with curious expressions. Word had spread quickly about yesterday's incident, and now people were waiting, not just to mock, but to see what would happen next. Among them stood Victoria Hale, arms crossed, her confident posture unchanged, though her eyes carried a hint of curiosity. As Daniel stepped out of his car, the murmurs grew louder. "Let's see if this thing even starts today," someone joked, drawing a few chuckles. Victoria smirked slightly, watching him like she expected another moment of embarrassment. But Daniel didn't respond to any of it. Instead, he calmly walked to the front of his car and placed his hand gently on the hood, almost like he was greeting an old friend. Without saying a word, he released the latch and slowly lifted the hood. The faint creak of metal seemed unusually loud in the silence that followed. At first, no one reacted. Then one of the senior engineers passing by caught a glimpse inside and instantly froze. His expression changed from casual interest to complete shock. He stepped closer, his eyes widening as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Wait, this isn't possible," he murmured, drawing everyone's attention. Victoria frowned and moved forward. "What is it?"
she demanded.
The engineer pointed toward the engine, his hands slightly trembling. There, etched into the metal, was a signature, clear, deliberate, and unmistakable. This is Enzo Ferrari's signature," he said, his voice filled with disbelief. A stunned silence fell over the crowd. The laughter from yesterday disappeared completely. replaced by shock and confusion. Victoria leaned in closer, her confident expression cracking for the first time. "That can't be real," she whispered, but deep down she knew it was. Daniel finally spoke, his voice steady and calm. "My father worked on experimental engines years ago. This car is his legacy." In that moment, everything shifted. The rusty car was no longer an object of ridicule. It became something extraordinary. And the man they had mocked stood quietly, revealing a truth far more powerful than any luxury car in that parking lot. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kind Soul Stories, because behind every person, there's a story worth discovering.